Hello, today we are going to be looking at a build for PvE slash possibly PvP for the Warlock. This is Singood of Neverwinter. Right now we're going to be looking at the Soulbinder pathway, and something that's unique about the Soulbinder pathway is they swap out Pillar of Power for Soul Scorch, and you get 3 new class features: Borrowed Time, Dust to Dust, and Snuff Out. The other one has Prince of Hell, Something That Doesn't Matter, and No Pity, No Mercy. No Pity, No Mercy gives you combat advantage on targets whenever you critical, and Prince of Hell gives you 20% more armor penetration. That's not 20% flat additive, that is 20% of your current armor pen. So if you have 2,000, you'll get 400 more armor penetration. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at your initial stat roll. So when you first roll your character, and you're looking at PvE and PvP, you're going to want to look at the max Constitution and Charisma roll, and you want to try and get your intelligence as high as possible. The reason why: Constitution gives health and damage, that's always amazing, and Charisma gives you the critical chance and combat advantage damage bonus. Why are these important? Well, Constitution is important because you want to try and get as much health as possible, because that's for the PvP side of it. Right now I'm in PvE gear and I have 40,000 health. I can hit over 50,000 without a Constitution belt, and that's that. The Charisma is nice because you get a higher critical chance, and whenever you use No Pity, No Mercy as a not a Soulbinder Warlock, the other pathway that I really don't like, you get bonus combat advantage damage. Alright, so right now we're going to be looking at the Soulbinder Warlock, and basically your encounter power setup, you're going to want to have Soul Scorch, which does a lot of damage, Dread Theft, and Blades of Vanquished Armies. You can also switch out Blades of Vanquished Armies for Warlock's Bargain. Now, when you're in a combat scenario, when you fight, you want to jump into the middle of the mobs and throw out Blades of Vanquished Armies. This will help you build your Soul Sparks. You need Soul Sparks to cast Soul Scorch, which is your encounter. Each encounter cast costs six Soul Sparks. So that's 6 Soul Sparks. You use 1 encounter, boom. That's your encounter, Soul Scorch. I'm also going to be using the At-Will's Essence Defiler, which helps you build Soul Sparks faster, and Dark Spiral Aura. You can build Soul Sparks by hitting critical hits, or by using Essence Defiler. When you're attacking cursed targets with Essence Defiler, your final hit gives you 3 Soul Sparks, instead of the common 1 Soul Spark. So you want to curse your target before you use Essence Defiler. And that's what I use in PvE and PvP. Very useful. Dark Spiral Aura, that's just when you get kills. You know, you can shoot it off and get a little bit higher action point gain. You could also substitute that out for Hand of Blight in PvP, which is a very good at will, but I recommend this Dark Spiral Aura because it can give you a bit of a mid-range spike damage when needed in PvP. For class features, for the Soulbinder Warlock, they're pretty defensive. Use a Shadow Walk, which gives you 10% faster run speed while slipping, and use Borrowed Time, which gives you more health regeneration every 2 seconds while you have Soul Sparks built. For your feat setup, you're going to want to look at this. So we got 3 in toughness for 9% more hit points, 3 in critical chance for 3% more critical chance, 4 in Shadow Fold, so you reduce your slipping by 8% less, 3 in Empowered Rituals, so you have 6% more damage on your encounters, 2 in Determined Casting, so you have 4% reduced on your cooldowns, and 15% more critical, and 2% more damage on your Constitution. You're looking at almost max Fury. Now this is more of a PvP focused setup. So Critical Promise, whenever you do a critical hit, you get 10% of your weapon damage as necrotic on that target. Burning Soul, so you get 0.3% damage increase with Soul Sparks, with each Soul Spark. Executioner's Gift, you do more damage with your at-will and encounter powers as the target's health diminishes. Brutal Curse, Warlock's Curse increases the damage on that target by 10%, so 10% more damage. Murderous Flames, now this is more PvE. When you deal Killing Flames, it does 30% more damage to the primary target, and it does damage to the enemies around. You can use this in PvP, but it's more PvE, in my opinion. And Creeping Death. When the target's affected by your Warlock's Curse takes necrotic damage, they take that exact damage, again 100% over time, over 8 seconds. Now, Damnation. I'm using this particularly for PvP. when you remove a curse from someone, you deal 6% of your weapon damage to the target. You can switch this out if you're PvE focused with Offering of the Prisoner. Whenever you kill a target, you get 5% increased damage for 15 seconds. Cannot stack. For your boons, just go all defensive. If you're going to do PvE and PvP. If you're going PvP, then if you're going PvE, then just go all offensive. Okay, so that's the feat setup, and let me just show you a common rotation. So in PvP, or in PvE, you would want to just get down, use Blades of Vanquished Armies, throw up your Tyrannical Curse, curse your targets, you get some Soul Sparks built up, throw down a couple Soul Scorches, you see the damage bounce around, then throw off a Dread Theft. And that's going to be a lot of damage. That's going to bounce around and do a lot of damage to people. You could even sprint out and cancel your Dread Theft and throw off a couple more Soul Scorches. So that's how you're going to get your damage in PvE. In PvP, you're going to want to look at the same skills, Shadow Walk and Borrowed Time, and Horror Storm, Killing Flames, and Warlock's Bargain. So when you go up to someone in PvE, you might attack them a couple times with Essence Defiler after you curse them, throw a Warlock's Bargain on them, hit them with a Horror Storm, prone them, and then throw a Killing Flames on them. That's going to do a decent amount of damage to them, depending on where their health's at. But you can also switch out Killing Flames for Soul Scorch. Now, I know Killing Flames says 2 to 15,000, or 3 to 15,000. That just depends on the player's health. It's pretty reliable, but I like Soul Scorch better because you might need more than one encounter in your slot when you go up to fight someone. So say you move from the middle to the enemy node, and you get there and you have Soul Sparks. So you throw Warlock's Bargain on him, you prone him with Horror Storm, then you hit him with a couple big Soul Scorches. Now if you curse them and then throw it on him, you're going to get a bunch of damage over time. Especially if you're with a Control Wizard or someone that can help control the target, and you have Soul Sparks, you're going to, basically what you're going to do is you're going to hit the target for 7,000 damage, and then you're going to get damage over time. And then you're going to get that damage over time from Creeping Death as well. So Soul Scorch is a huge damage dealer in PvP. However, in PvP, you will probably want to use the Purified Black Ice set because it just gives a lot of defense regeneration and hit points, 48,000. I'm not even wearing a Constitution belt. Also, I will be using a more defense setup of artifacts, not offense. So my defense stats are pretty high without potions. So in PvP, you'll be looking at some pretty decent damage, depending on what glyphs you use. Sometimes I use red glyphs, sometimes I use defensive glyphs. If I am in the Fury pathway, I will be using tempered enchantments, so I will be getting 5,500 temporary hit points every minute from each one of those. It's pretty good for the Warlock. Okay, so I recently said there was a class feature for the Hellbringer Warlock that didn't matter, but now, since the late game gear has come out, Flames of Empowerment, when your action points are full, you deal 12% more damage, and you can feat for it to deal 17% more damage. This can be useful in PvP now. So, as a Hellbringer Warlock, for PvE, you're going to look at the same sort of similar setup, except instead of Soul Scorch, you're going to be using Killing Flames, and instead of Shadow Walk and Borrowed Time, you're going to be using No Pity, No Mercy, which gives combat advantage when you critical hit a target, and Prince of Hell in a dungeon, or you can use Flames of Empowerment. Also, when we look at your offhand bonuses, you're probably going to want to change your artifact power to either probably No Pity, No Mercy. When you affect someone with a critical hit, you reduce their damage resistance by 5%. Let's go ahead and change that. Okay, you're going to want to do the same exact setup. Well, this is just my personal preference. Same exact max or high Constitution, high Charisma, and I'm using the Black Ice Beholder belt, so that gives you 2 intelligence and 2 charisma. And while intelligence is sort of important, it's also more resistance ignored, so it's basically more free armor pen and recharge speed bonus. And the armor set you're going to use is the Accursed Diabolus set for PvE purposes, and I just use the personalized rings for PvE. Or you can just use the rings that give you the most damage. These give damage and defense. Basically, you're going to want to keep your power high, because power basically has no roof now. Get your critical, armor pen, and recovery all around 2,000, and you're solid there. You can make your critical upwards of 3,000 if you want for PvE. Lifesteal, easy to get with the Warlock. Try and hit regeneration a little bit higher, and which I will do when I put my Waters artifact on over my Beholder artifact. Defense and deflect are all right where they're at. So when you fight a mob, it's the same thing. You jump on the mob. At will powers. So you have Hand of Blight, which does a lot of damage. So instead of using Essence Defiler and Dark Spiral Aura, you have Hellish Rebuke, which does fire damage over time, and Hand of Blight, which does narcotic damage. So in PvP or when you're against a boss, you definitely want to curse the target and throw a Hellish Rebuke on them right away, because that does damage over time. And if someone attacks you while it's applied, it keeps getting reapplied, so it basically never goes away as long as they're dealing damage to you. So you get a Hellish Rebuke on them. You basically just jump into a mob in PvE, throw up Blaze of Vanquished Armies. No Pity, No Mercy is affecting them, so they already they have reduced damage resistance, and you are getting combat advantage. So yeah, same principle as last time. As you can see, the damage numbers are ridiculous when you use Tyrannical Threat. So in PvP purposes, you're going to use probably Black Ice. Some people, not everyone uses Black Ice, so use the Purified Black Ice. You can use the Tenacity 2-set ring bonus now, since Tenacity is scaled up a bit more, or you could use the Profound Armor gear. I will try and update this when the Drow Armor gear comes out. So you switch out Waters for Beholder, and you get a little bit more regeneration. The regeneration could even be a little bit higher. So in PvP, you're going to probably use, instead of Prince of Hell, you're probably going to use Flames of Empowerment and try and keep your daily up. Still going to be using Killing Flames, Warlock's Bargain, and Storm. So you'll see your target, you'll throw a Hellish Rebuke on them, then you'll hit them with a Warlock's Bargain, slip away, Storm, prone them, and then use the Killing Flames. So when you have a full daily, you're getting 17% damage bonus, or above 80%. When you have above 80% damage, so you have potential to do pretty high damage. So yep, that is in a nutshell PvE and PvP. If you have any more questions, go ahead and post down in the description. Thank you for watching.